Little housekeeping. Yesterday we had on Ben and Jamisa, the Motleys from the great country of Portugal. And we were having a nice conversation and we got a caller. And I don't think that I processed or gave this caller enough time, or maybe he wasn't as forthcoming with what he really wanted to say. But I wanted to play it. If he's still listening, great. I'm not coming for you at all. I want to have a conversation with everyone because I believe he's on to something too. So let me play this clip and then we're going to have a conversation. Play it.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
Let's take John in Colorado, who has a question for you guys. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Hey, John.
Hi, how are you?
Awesome.
Good. Well, my question, it may not be in the spectrum in which they're specialized, but I notice I watch not a lot of TV, but watch a lot of the advertisements on TV, and I see from a couple standpoint, I see like a dearth or a lack of African American males in commercials, and they're African American women, but they're with males of maybe European descent, for lack of a better way of saying that. Do you see that? Is that anything that kind of you may have thought that maybe in the back of your mind, or conceptually what that presents from American society? Is that one of the things that may have had you feel like you don't see men that look like that, African American men that get represented in those types of things that we're kind of trying to be advantaged resources or advantaged presence in society?
I have a question for you, John. You're going in and out, and Jaleesa and Ben, y'all could jump in at any time. So, I'm sensing this a lot. So I feel like you're on certain YouTube channels. There's this, high value male thing, this red pill thing that's going on. There's a lot of, the erasure of black men thing going on. But I get to sit in community with men every day. Somebody even's like, why you have a lot of effeminate men on your show? And I'm like, I have every single, like what you're seeing, is the spectrum of all of the things. And I'm going to lean into people who are respectful. But I do think there's a thread, John, in Colorado of kind of this, it feels adjacent to MAGA, but just black, like if we're not careful with it, it feels very aggrieved. Is that what you're feeling? Like you're not being seen in these spaces?
Not so much. Well, it's just from I see it in when I kind of look at commercials. These are the things that they try to they get us to buy or get us to direct us to see these things, and you see those couples. And maybe for me, and maybe I'm more keen to it. Maybe you're right along those lines, that maybe I see when I see those situations, it perks me more than I do see it. Maybe I'm more keen to it than that. Maybe that may be it. Maybe am I looking for it? Maybe subconsciously, I wonder if that's something that's going on, and it could be. I don't watch do a lot of YouTube because there's a lot of conspiracy stuff, but it's just from marketing. I'm just like, wow, okay, there's another one. Then I just kind of wonder if it's that, and it's a tangent question, but I thought being a couple, maybe they, do they have any thoughts on that?
I'll turn it over. I do remember there was a lot of kerfuffle around the Cheerios commercial with the black dad and the white. It's all these interracial couples and they're just shoving it down our throats. But it's feeling very much like, they're shoving the LGBTQ down. They're shoving these Mexicans down our throats. Like it feels very MAGA aggrieved to me. Okay. So I was thinking about this because I often think about the show after the show. I don't know if y'all do. And sometimes I process. So those of you who are listeners, right? I would say 95% of you will never call the show. So over the last 10 years, and before that I was on the radio, you kind of understand somebody that calls up, they're very passionate about this thing. I felt like John was meandering not really getting to his point. But then I listened back to it because I asked Miz to pull it because I was like, I don't think I was fair to him. And I also, while I don't think that he got to his actual point, I think I jumped on a thing that I see happening and attributed to him, and that's not right. So I wanted to come back. And then I said, maybe he has a point because I don't watch commercials. I'll fast forward through those. I purposefully will record something on cable and fast forward through every commercial. And then I pay extra to not see commercials. So I don't know what the commercials are out there. And then I thought about it, John in Colorado, and you are on to something. Do we know of any really amazing positive commercials featuring black men? Not athletes running through walls or dressing up in dresses, Charles Black, not famous, but just black men doing something that everybody else will do, just being normal, quote unquote, whatever that is. So I said, let me bring it to the people. So I think I miscategorized him. I don't think he's one of these red pill guys. So I apologize to you, John, in Colorado. But I do think that there is a current happening in this country if we're not careful, and it's on purpose. And it is marketing, because he talked about marketing that will draw a wedge between us, which will be destructive of us because they know the only thing they can't defeat is our unity. So they try everything in their power. So we're dealing right now with Africans versus blacks and others versus blacks. And two things could be true. So I'm going to bring up again Cenat, because his ass is on the cover of Time magazine. I said, you know what? I didn't even know this, but I said, you know what? Y'all are playing in our faces. So there's two things happening at the same time, and we can have a very visceral feeling against the pedestalizing of certain people in society who happen to have black skin versus the people who are black, who have an experience, who are about this life. Cenat is not about this life. Is that why he is on the pedestal right now with these folk? I'm going to say yes. And he's so young and dumb that he doesn't even know he's being used because the money's coming in, and he's not going to turn down millions of dollars, and I don't blame him. But I can't blame us. But I'm like, we should be talking about it. And I'm not saying we should take anything away from this young man. It's beautiful what he's doing, but I'm asking, what is he doing? What's the value? What's the benefit? Why is he one of Time 100's most influential people? What is he doing to influence? What's the influence? Now, I went down the list of the 100. Not a whole lot of black Americans on there, number one. Number two, I don't know 90% of the people, but I'm not the demographic that can be influenced, I guess. I know a few of them. Mr. Beast is on there. A few others. I recognized Joel, the Dr. Smiths, and I have been trying to book on the show for the last year because he does some amazing things on TikTok, and he's apparently too busy to come on the show. No problem, Dr. Joel. You're still dope. Some few other handful of people, but I was like, this marketing is on purpose. And I think John in Colorado's on to something. So I'm just curious, because I don't watch commercials, but W.B. Du Bois talked about it. We're going to talk about that. And then Tom Burrell, advertising genius, wrote a book called Brainwashed. Year one on the Karen Hunter Show. I need to go back. And as I met today with the Focus Substack, as we're building out what I want to build out and realize that I can't do everything that I want to do, which means that there's more to be done. I'm like, okay, this is beautiful that my imagination is too big for some spaces. And that's okay, because my imagination will not shrink. I'm going to find the room for it. But one of the things I wanted to do on Substack was to really explore books, different books, not just, what we do in Nubia and Narrative, which are Africana-based books, which I absolutely love. But I want spaces where we all can have these conversations about the things. And Tom Burrell's Brainwashed might be something to revisit, as I went chapter and verse today in it. And he quotes W.B. Du Bois in this from Black Reconstruction. He quotes W.B. Du Bois in chapter 1. He says, but in the propaganda against the Negro since emancipation in this land, we face one of the most stupendous efforts the world ever saw to discredit human beings. That is a quote from W.B. Du Bois that kicks off Brainwashed, where he talks about how media and commercials and advertising was used purposefully to dehumanize and demonize Black people. It's not a rumor. It's not conjecture. These are facts. This man was in the room, Tom Burrell. And W.B. Du Bois wrote about it in Black Reconstruction even before there was a Tom Burrell. He has a whole chapter, The Propaganda of History. W.E. Du Bois has a chapter in Black Reconstruction. It is The Propaganda of History. Might need to read that as well, maybe a Nubia. But Du Bois argued that the history of Reconstruction taught in schools throughout the country at the time had been largely incorrect, even based on lies, because the authors were white nationalists who, he called them supremacists. We don't do that, right? White nationalists who were objective whose only objective, whose objective in name only, because the United States was ashamed of its Civil War history. And the propaganda history is really remarkable. It's a remarkable essay. Y'all should read it in Black Reconstruction. But Du Bois said how the facts of American history have in the last century been falsified because the nation was ashamed. The South was ashamed because it fought to perpetuate human slavery. The North was ashamed because it had to call in Black men to save the Union, abolish slavery, and establish democracy. So they were both ashamed. And as a result, the Black people that fought to free themselves became the target of this campaign, which I think we're still under. So when he called, I had to think about it. Are there any commercials that feature Black men in a very positive light that we can even think about?
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.